stop you. Shoot for the sun and break on through.
The following message is brought to you by Mark Riccobono, President, National Federation of the Blind. Live the life you want.
Yes, we know the truth.
Greetings, fellow Federationists. Today is May 1st, 2020, and this is Presidential Release number 494. I am talking to you from the main conference room here at the National Federation of the Blind Jernigan Institute. I'm here at our board meeting table, I guess you would call it, surrounded in this room, if you've never been here. On three walls are all Braille books that were part of Dr. Jernigan's personal Braille book collection. Also behind me, over my right shoulder, is the United States flag, and over my left shoulder, the Federation flag. Certainly Federationists who have been in our building would be very familiar with this room. So it's a pleasure to be with you this evening. And as I was preparing, I realized, man, there is a lot to talk about. And even just since we were together for the presidential release on April 2nd, so much has happened. First and foremost, I hope that each and every one of you are doing well. And I know that on a daily basis, I am strengthened by the hope and determination that I feel from talking to other Federationists around the country, the great work that is happening, even in the face of many challenges. Our organization is stronger and more together than maybe at any other time in our coming up on 80-year history. So let me jump right in so that we can have as much time for questions as possible. First of all, I know that everybody wants to talk about the National Convention. At our last presidential release, we said we were still analyzing, looking at what we were going to do. You now know that we have decided, the board of directors, after looking at this, has decided to take our convention online. First and foremost, tough decision. But the board decided there was clearly too many unknowns and that we needed to begin planning to have our biggest and best convention ever. Let's get through some logistics. If you registered at the hotel in Houston, made a room reservation, either at the Hilton or the Marriott, you will get a full refund of your deposit. We have talked with the reservation staff at both hotels, and they are working on canceling the reservations at the Hilton and Marriott and issuing full refunds to the credit cards that were used. As you might imagine, those hotels both have very slim staffs right now, so it might take up to 2 weeks for all of those reservations to get processed and refunded. If you do not hear anything by May 8th, we ask you to send an email to Susan Scarer here at our national office. Her email address is sskarer@nfb.org. Include your reservation number and we'll follow up on it for you. There's no need to call the hotel. They will be working on the refunds. If you registered for the convention and maybe bought some banquet tickets, you should have had one of our team reach out to you already about your registration and banquet fees. And thank you to many of you who are tuned in who asked to donate those directly to the Federation to support the work that we're doing during COVID-19 and recognizing that we are going to have expenses related to the convention. Let's talk a little bit about the plans for our 2020 convention, our biggest convention ever, I do believe. I'm going to give you as many details as I can this evening. You should know, and it's maybe obvious that this is an evolving situation. We're working very quickly to re-engineer what we're going to do. We're doing a lot of research to make sure we can make this the best convention ever. First and foremost, what are the dates of the convention? Well, you probably said July 14 to 19, and you would have been right, except you're no longer right. It's now July 14 to 18. 14 to 18. We took a hard look at the convention and decided that we would shave a day off, knowing that it's going to be a lot to be online for 5 days. We want all of our members to treat this convention like a convention. We know some people are going to dip in and dip out, but we know that true federationists, if they at all can, want this to be a real convention and to dedicate the time and make the commitment to have this be a true cohesive convention. So we want people to dedicate the time to be at the convention, engaged in the activities, and we're having a lot of careful conversations about how to do that, recognizing that some of us are already getting burned out on being online all the time. So we want you to treat it like a real convention. So we shaved a day off, and that also allows us to put the banquet on Sunday evening. Now, I know Pam especially is concerned about Rookie Roundup. We are going to have a Rookie Roundup. It will probably be the day before the convention or maybe a week before the convention. Many of us have said we're all going to be rookies for our first online convention. So we will have a Rookie Roundup. We're going to schedule it in advance of the convention so people can use that as a way to prepare for what the convention will be. We want to be very accommodating for all of the federation across the country, recognizing our Hawaii affiliate is many hours behind the East Coast. We're committing that none of our activities will start before 9 a.m. Eastern time. Now that's still pretty early in Hawaii, but of course, there won't be too many activities that early. And if you've been to one of our conventions, you know they start early and end late. We're going to try not to have activities, official meetings end past 10 p.m. Eastern. That's our current parameters we're working on. Let me tell you a little bit about the structure of the convention because it's a little bit different. Tuesday, July 14th would have been seminar day, and it still is seminar day. Our parents division, rehab meetings, technology meetings, we're envisioning most of that will be very similar to what you've known. The changes start to come on day 2, Wednesday, July 15th, which you would have known as registration day. Will now be board meeting and resolutions day. It's always been resolutions day, but you note that we've moved the board meeting, at least at this time, to that Wednesday. On Thursday, July 16th, that's still division day, but that's also going to feature our opening ceremonies in the evening. So our opening ceremonies will be kicking off on Thursday, July 16th in the evening. Friday, July 17th, if you know the normal pattern, you would have recognized this as the opening session day, including the presidential report. And we're still calling that presidential report day, but we'll have a full day of general sessions on that day. Also, each one of our affiliates will be holding an affiliate caucus that day between some specified hours. So we're expecting every affiliate to have a caucus on Friday of the convention. And then Saturday, of course, is our business meeting, our resolutions, and the banquet. So we have repackaged things just a little bit, hoping that where we can have in-person meetings and gatherings to listen and participate in the convention, that might be able to happen Thursday evening, Friday, Saturday, some combination thereof. We are hoping we can get people together by that time, at least to some degree in some places. A lot of people want to know, what platform are we going to use? We're doing a lot of Zoom. Are we going to do Zoom? Are we going to do something else? We're still evaluating that question. We're not fully committed to the exact platform. We're being very careful about what's out there. Accessibility, of course, is a primary question for us. And we want to make sure that we can include everybody, not just the folks who have access to a computer and internet connection. We want to connect people via telephone. We are working to have a high level of engagement in the convention. This is kind of a challenge, considering, again, that fact that we have people on the telephone, we have people with smartphones or without smartphones. Some people have internet, some don't, but we want a high level of engagement in the convention, including voting if we can work that out. And as an aside to affiliates on voting, this is where your membership lists being submitted is going to be really critical. Now, if you have not registered for the convention, you need to do so. Registration is open, and the board has made the commitment that registration is free. You can go to nfb.org/convention, and you will need to register to be eligible to participate in certain things at the convention, including door prizes. Registration is going to close on June 15. That'll give us time to work out details that we need to and communicate with folks. We do currently envision there may be a way to register during the convention, but don't wait. Get your registration in by June 15 so you can get ready, do the planning, and have everything you need to be ready for our convention. We are going to have door prizes at the convention. What would a convention be without door prizes? And it's going to be interesting to figure out how, if you're tuned in or not, but we're going to work on that. We do need door prizes for the convention, so please send in door prizes. It'd be great to have a major door prize, a basket or something from each of our 52 affiliates and other nifty things. You can send them to the National Federation of the Blind, and you should mark them attention convention-FS, that's for fiscal services, so convention-FS. And as you may know, our address is 200 East Wells Street, Baltimore, Maryland, 21230. Please get your door prize donations into us as soon as possible. We are going to be disseminating more information to our affiliates and divisions about how to actively participate in the convention. As those details come together, we do expect that our delegates are going to do a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of receiving communications and sharing information across the delegation for the affiliate. Also, I welcome your ideas about what the convention should look like. We recognize we're not going to be able to do everything we might want to do, considering we now only have 2.5 months left to plan the details. But your ideas are welcome. What speakers should we have? What topics? What would be most interesting? How can we keep it engaging even at a distance? How can we bring the spirit of the Federation to it? Please send your ideas to me at Office of the President at nfb.org. Now, some of you have signed up for our Kenneth Jernigan convention scholarships, and since we don't have a convention destination to send people to, our Kenneth Jernigan Convention Scholarship Fund Committee is thinking about how to manage convention participation and how to do some new and dynamic things going forward. So our committee is putting together a first-time convention experience video contest that you're going to see some more information about, but we're going to be asking everyone who is willing to participate in this contest to create a 1-minute video, not more than 1 minute, or an audio file talking about your first convention and what it meant to you. We all know that that first convention is something very special. It helps us understand the power, influence, the family that we have in the National Federation of the Blind. And so you're going to want to participate in this contest to give us some great content to promote our 2020 convention, and also tell people why participating in our convention is important. And you could win some cash prizes and whatever else our Kenneth Jernigan Scholarship Fund committee thinks up. Now, I know I'm not eligible to win a prize in this contest. So, you know, if I was going to do a video, I might have talked about my first experience at my convention, how powerful it was, especially at the end of the convention, really putting it all together when my friends that I had made, who were all graduates from the Louisiana Center for the Blind, I tagged along with them to Disneyland, thinking this has got to be crazy, a bunch of blind people walking through Disneyland without help. Well, it cemented for me not only the techniques that I heard about all week, but the philosophy and the value of what we do in the National Federation of the Blind. Or maybe I would tell a story about some of the people I met at my first convention, like Buna DeHall, who I met because she was selling candy bars for our Illinois affiliate, and she wouldn't leave me alone until I bought a candy bar. And she's been my good friend now for 24 years. So that was more than a minute. So I'm already ineligible for that. So get your videos in, pay attention. There's going to be information coming out in the next couple of weeks about the convention and our video contest. In addition to the convention, we have been busier than ever in our advocacy work. The COVID-19 pandemic has made some of our legislative priorities even more pressing with respect to economic and independent living. You know, our Access Technology Affordability Act continues to get interest in Congress and be very relevant in the conversation about how to get blind people back into employment and how to get access to information. That's HR 2086 and S815 continue to promote the Access Technology Affordability Act. With respect to Social Security disability, we are continuing to request that in the next bill that Congress considers, sometimes it's called C4 or the mini CARES bill, we're pursuing to get a waiver of the 5-month waiting period for SSDI benefits or the 24-month waiting period for Medicare. We're getting interest on that in Congress as well. So stay tuned, because I'm sure there will be a need for some further advocacy in those areas. We should also celebrate one of the many victories we've had in the last week. The Department of Education released their much anticipated report on Monday of this week, and the report was intended to give recommendations to Congress about any waivers that should happen with regard to the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, the Rehabilitation Act, or other laws. And I am very pleased to report that no objectionable waivers were requested by the Department of Education. And I believe that is a direct result of the strong advocacy of the National Federation of the Blind, sending a very clear message to the Secretary of Education that at this time, blind students need as much support and education as everyone else. And I think the fact that the report not only doesn't ask for waivers, but in fact asks for waivers that are good for blind students. In fact, one of the waivers that is requested, it extends eligibility for toddlers who are getting services whose services would have ended when they turned 3 years old. So we didn't get anything bad. In fact, we got some good stuff, and that's because of the network of the National Federation of the Blind and our advocacy. In addition, I want to give a shout out to our National Association of Blind Merchants, who were able to instigate the Secretary of Education recommending for a waiver that would allocate vocational rehabilitation funds to replace spoiled food and expired supplies for Randolph Shepherd business owners. Our merchants have been very active in making sure we protect blind-owned small businesses through the Randolph Shepherd program and state-owned businesses. So hats off to Nikki Gakos and to our blind merchants for that work. And it's a pleasure to continue to coordinate on those efforts. All of this and other victories we've had demonstrate the power of our collective action, of our individual actions collectively focused. So thank you to each and every one of you for making those calls, sending those emails, and continue to watch, because there will be more to do. Now, many of you should have received your economic impact payment from the government. Most blind people who are currently receiving SSDI should have received their economic impact payments earlier this week. If you are receiving SSI, we understand that you should be receiving your economic impact payment before the end of this month. Keep in mind that if you're an SSI recipient and you have dependents, you have until May 5th to add your dependent information to make sure you receive the additional funds for dependents under that program. To do so, you'll need to fill out the IRS non-filer enter payment info tool, and that information and the link to that can be found on our COVID-19 page. If you have questions about the economic impact payments and the details around them, especially for getting SSDI or SSI, you can go to nfb.org/COVID-19. We have a ton of information there that's changing almost daily. If you have questions, you can also email John Pare at jpare@nfb.org. A couple legal items and also relating to SSDI. We are seeking individuals who are currently in the process of applying for SSDI benefits, maybe because of lost employment. So if you're in the process of applying, we'd like to talk to you, and especially if you've had to sign with a physical signature various Social Security Administration forms. We also wish to speak with blind persons who have recently filled out SSA form 1696. This is the form that is used to appoint someone to represent you in front of the Social Security Administration. If you fit that category or know someone who does, please reach out to Valerie Yingling in our office. I'm going to give you her info in a minute, but we're also requesting information about the inaccessibility of state unemployment websites. We've heard a number of stories about blind people running into inaccessibility on unemployment websites. If you've had that trouble, please share your experience with that with Valerie Yingling as well, so we can see if we can help and we can gather data. You can reach Valerie at our office via email by sending an email to vyingling@nfb.org, or at our main number 410-659-9314 extension 2440. We are coming up on Global Accessibility Awareness Day. It's a good opportunity to talk about the web accessibility work we are doing. We will be hosting a Twitter chat on May 15th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. I'd encourage you to get involved with that to help push our accessibility efforts and web accessibility, and especially our Accessible Now effort that we've been undertaking during COVID-19. The hashtag we're using is Accessible Now for our Twitter chat on the 15th of this month. Another thing that we're doing, and of course we've been doing for a long time, but it is intense right now, is making sure that we're tracking and protecting the rights of blind voters. We've had some great victories in Maryland and a number of other states. We're continuing to track what's happening in the states. If you're running into voting problems, please reach out to Luann Blake in our office. Luann coordinates our Help America Vote Act activities. You can reach her at lblake@nfb.org, or find her at extension 2221 at our national office. Now, we've had a partnership with Lyft during the last 2 months to provide some support for transportation for those who might need emergency transportation or have trouble getting out to get medicine or supplies because of transportation issues. And our work in April, we got confirmation that we could continue issuing travel credits to folks very late in the month. So LIFT has extended our exclusive National Federation of the Blind LIFT credit program through the end of May. So additional coupons for LIFT riders are available in the amount of $25 that can be used for emergency purposes related to helping blind people in need during the COVID-19 pandemic. There are a limited quantity of these available, but if you know of a blind person who could benefit, or you are a blind person who is in need, please reach out to your affiliate president. Affiliate presidents have more information. They can issue the code to you, and we do need to collect some data to make sure we can report back to LIFT on the impact, but I think it's really exciting that LIFT continues to work with us on this. I want to remind you about our Braille Monitor. That's our flagship publication, and there are a number of articles this month about issues related to COVID-19 that may be of interest. The Braille Monitor is our flagship publication. You can get it in, well, almost any way imaginable. Quick apology to our Braille readers who get the hard copy Braille of the Monitor. Right now that is delayed because the producer that does the hard copy Braille for us is closed at the moment, but you will get your back issues in hard copy Braille very soon, and we are making the BRF files available. There's another great articles in this month's issue. I'd call out to you, there's an article about counseling and the coronavirus, a perspective on well-being, authored by Candace Chapman and Jeannie Massey, two of our outstanding leaders. That's just one of the many great articles. I'd encourage you to go read the Braille Monitor and submit articles. The COVID-19 situation has created some opportunities for us to really stretch beyond where we thought we might want to this summer. And one of those is our National Federation of the Blind Braille Enrichment for Literacy and Learning program, 2-week summer programs to provide Braille instruction to blind students. We've decided to reformat for this summer for obvious reasons. So we're launching NFB BELL in-home edition. There will be 3 2-week sessions. The first will be June 1st to June 12th. Second, June 23rd to July 3rd. And my favorite session, July 27th to August 7th. That kicks off my birthday week, July 27th. Students will be receiving a box of materials. So the goal is that we're going to be sending families all the materials they need for their child to participate in our NFB BELL in-home edition. And so we want to get families registered for this as soon as possible. There will be a limited number of opportunities. Families will have the opportunity to connect each day with an experienced teacher, and also to get their child connected with a blind role model. So some of this will be self-directed instruction, but also supported with lessons, YouTube videos, things like that. We need families to register, and we need to get the word out. Obviously, if the first program starts June 1st, that's a month from today. The registration form is available at nfb.org/bell, B-E-L-L. So please spread the word, get families to sign up, and we need to reach out to families. This is a great resource, and it's going to push us into trying something with Braille literacy that really nobody else in the nation is trying. Now, here's something I also need your help on. Next Tuesday is Giving Tuesday Now. This is a global giving campaign to support nonprofits and the work that they're doing during the COVID-19 pandemic. So May 5th, we need your help to get critical dollars into this organization to support the programs that we're innovating, really, like the NFB BELL in-home edition. Imagine if everyone tuned in this evening, gave $20 or got someone else to give $20, or better yet, did both. That would be a tremendous influx of resources to support these new programs that we're launching. But it's even better because of our partnership and friends at the Gibney Family Foundation. All of our donations for Giving Tuesday Now will be matched by the Gibney Family Foundation. So a shout out to our friends at the Gibney Family Foundation for that support for our Giving Tuesday donation efforts. So we need you to give. We also need you to spread the word and message over the next few days so that we can get as much reach on this as possible and get donations into the organization. You can give online. You can send us a check to our national headquarters. You can even call our office and our main number and hit 4. If you called right now, you'd get a voicemail, but we'll call you back and we can take your donation via phone. If you donate online or send a check, please write GT for Giving Tuesday so we know we can designate it to that campaign and we can multiply your contribution through the generosity of the Gibney Family Foundation. Besides considering to give and certainly promoting the program, we are going to have a Facebook event. Please promote that, share it widely. There's something else I need each and every federationist to do, and it's easy to do. I need you to write a thank you note to the Gibney Family Foundation from you to let them know how important it is that their support of our efforts at this time and with Giving Tuesday, what that means to you. The best notes would tell how the NFB has been helpful to you, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, but also more broadly, tell your story, a little piece of your story about how the Federation has made a difference. These should not be long notes. They can be relatively short. In fact, 100 to 200 words would be fine. Obviously, the goal is to thank the Gibney Foundation, let them know something personal from you about the impact of the National Federation of the Blind, why these dollars matter to us now. Write your note and please send it to outreach@nfb.org. And if we have chapter members that don't have email, please help them. Write their notes and get them into a form and get them into the email so that we can share all of these notes with the Gibney Family Foundation. It will make a big difference in addition to the dollars, so please take a moment to do that. Okay, before I turn this back over to Pam, I do have a number of Federation family notes to share with you this month. First and foremost, we do know that a number of our members have been directly impacted by the coronavirus. Thank goodness we've had a number of members who have had the virus and recovered. Some very prominently have not. I'm sure you have already heard about Dr. Brian Miller, a longtime member of ours from Virginia, has participated in many activities, including our scholarship committee, fought a battle with the virus, but passed away in April. Also, Loretta Bunn, a longtime member of our Wayne County chapter, passed away on Thursday, April 23rd. And in addition, Ruby Wirtz, a member and the wife of our Detroit chapter member, Johnny Wirtz, passed away earlier in April from the virus. I am also aware of a number of Federationists who have had family members pass away, friends, because of the virus, and I'm sure there are others I don't know about. So I'd urge you to keep these individuals and their families and all of our members grappling with the virus in your thoughts and prayers, as I'm sure you already do. We've had a number of other members who have passed away. Charlie Brown of Virginia reports the passing of Amy Barnes at age 95. She was a founding member and a longtime president of our Winchester, Virginia chapter of the National Federation of the Blind. Please keep her husband Stanley and family in your thoughts and prayers. Also, Scott Van Gorp of Iowa reports the passing of Doug Wolf, a member of the at-large chapter in Iowa. You could keep his wife, JD, in your thoughts and prayers. We also learned of the passing of Ron Atchinson, a member of the North Metro chapter of the NFB of Colorado, and an active participant in our senior programs at the Colorado Center for the Blind. Joe Ruffalo shares the passing of John Ferry at age 34, who died of liver cancer. John was from New Jersey, but was living in Denver at the time that he passed. The National Federation of the Blind of West Virginia reports the passing of Travis Kane, the son of affiliate treasurer Sandy Streets, on April 29, so just a few days ago. He was only 40 years old, and Travis was an active member of the Harris County chapter of the Federation. Barbara Briggs, who had been an active member of the Kansas City chapter of the National Federation of the Blind of Missouri for 25 years, passed away on Thursday, April 23rd. Michael Hinkson of California reports the passing of John Bates, a longtime member of ours in Orange County, California. And Grace Pyers of Rhode Island says that she regrets to report the passing of Richard Gaffney in the middle of April. Richard was a founding member of our affiliate and a longtime leader and our immediate past president there. Pam Allen reports the passing of Susan Clark earlier this week. Susan, if you've been around the organization, you know she was a 25-year staff member at the Louisiana Center for the Blind and known and loved by many. And finally, I need to tell you of the passing of Rammie, who passed away on April 17th in Israel. Rammie was one of our charter members of the National Federation of the Blind of Illinois and its first affiliate president. He was a pioneer in getting blind people into the foreign service and was a hard fighter in that regard. So we have a lot to be thankful for Rammie about. I last got to be with Rammie in Israel on a visit that I did there with Dr. Maurer and some others. Got to have dinner with Rammie and others, and Rammie made it clear that how much he wished that the organizations in Israel operated like the National Federation of the Blind. I'd urge you to keep all of these individuals, their families, their friends in the Federation in your thoughts and prayers, and give thanks for the tremendous contributions they've made to our movement. Now, it seems to be a busy month for Federation news. I have some joyous news to share with you before I turn this back over to Pam. Denise Brown invites us to congratulate two members of the Greater Philadelphia chapter of the National Federation of the Blind of Pennsylvania. Gloria Nathan and Larry Cherry were married on April 15th in a ceremony that took place in their church. So congratulations to the Cherries. Emily Gibbs, Director of Youth and Education Services for the National Federation of the Blind of Texas, reports that Emily and her husband, Richard, completed their family and adopted 5 children on March 4th. Adrian, 14, Oscar, 11, Kimberly, 9, Jasmine, 5, and James, 4. Welcome to the newest members of the Federation, and congratulations to the Gibbs 7, I guess we'll call them. Norma Crosby, also from Texas, announces the birth of Sophia Regina Hernandez, born on April 8th, weighing in at 7 pounds and 6 ounces and at 18.5 inches long. Sophia is the daughter of Hilda and Rolando Hernandez. Rolando serves as president of our Rio Grande Valley chapter, and both of them are very active in the programs to build the Federation in Texas. And finally, bringing it back to Louisiana, Rosie and Marco Carranza of Louisiana welcomed Mateo Francisco Carranza on April 27th at 8:38 a.m. Mateo weighed in at 5 pounds, 10 ounces, and 19.25 inches long. All are doing great, according to Pam Allen. And big sister Camila and Sophia are very excited about Mateo's arrival. So congratulations and welcome to our newest members of the National Federation of the Blind. We look forward to getting to meet you soon. Those are the notes that I had for this release. At this point, Pam, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, President Riccobono, and it's wonderful to hear all of the happenings going on in our Federation family. I know that Mateo is listening, so I want to thank everybody too for the questions that have been submitted. Before we start with our questions, I want to go over quickly a few housekeeping things. First of all, remember that everyone is muted and unable to mute yourselves. So just to remind everybody about that, if I call upon you to ask a question, you'll be unmuted, and just to let you know about that. And then once you've finished asking the question, you'll be muted again. And if you have questions or comments, remember you can submit them through the chat feature directly to the National Federation of the Blind. It is available in the app, the Zoom app, or through the Zoom desktop application. And also you may email Chris Danielson. His email is cdanielson, that's CDANIELSEN @nfb.org. So remember, we are going to do our best to answer all the questions. We have some fabulous questions. I know many were answered in your remarks tonight, President Riccobono, and many of them centered on convention. Everybody's counting down till we get there. And also a quick reminder too that our recording will be available of the presidential release at nfb.org/publications later on after the release. So first of all, and related to convention, we had a question come in from Laura Vincent from Utah about Spanish translation for our national convention and how that will be handled this year for convention.
Well, thanks, Laura, for that question. It is a great question, and there will be Spanish interpretation. How it will be handled, we don't exactly know yet. It is high on our requirements list for our convention platform and what we're planning to do. We are expecting to continue, as always, to be able to leverage the great work of our Spanish translation committee in that effort. I can't give you the particulars of it right now because we just don't know, but we are keeping it in mind. Excuse me. We also plan to, again, make our convention agenda information available in Spanish, as we have been for, I don't know, a number of years now. That is in the plan, and I'm sure we're going to need people's help in making that happen.
Excellent. And also, Laura had a follow-up question concerning recording of the convention and division meetings, if they will be available later to access.
Again, we don't exactly know the answer to that. Once we figure out what platform we're going to use and how we're going to deliver that, we'll figure that out. Certainly our general sessions will be recorded and archived. I don't necessarily anticipate we're going to record and archive every meeting. We will do some of that, but we do want people to show up and participate in the convention if they can. So we're simply not going to be able to record every single meeting and archive it. You know, our convention has hundreds of different meetings. So the main ones will be recorded and archived, and where we can get to other ones, we will. But we do want people to participate live if they can.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. And another following up, we are about to introduce Chad Allen from California to ask a question, another question related to convention.
Hi, everyone. I'm curious about Exhibit Hall this year. How are we going to experience the latest and greatest in regards to technology that's there?
Chad, great to hear your voice. Thanks for your question. This is an interesting question we're grappling with. How do we duplicate the convention experience of going around the exhibit hall? And certainly for blind people, we want to put our hands on technology. That's how we know what it is and experience it. I certainly don't want to drop many thousands of dollars on a Braille device that I haven't gotten to put my hands on, right? So we're thinking about that. We're looking at what platforms are out there. We're talking with some of our sponsors and exhibitors about what they've seen might work. So we don't exactly know yet. It's not going to be the full rich environment that being in the exhibit hall where you can actually touch stuff is, but we are hoping to connect vendors and blind people in a dynamic way, at least to provide information that might facilitate follow-up. So it's something we're spending a lot of time on. We're talking to the exhibitors about, and certainly if we have members who are business owners that have seen things work, we'd like to hear about it. Shoot us an email. You can reach out to John Berggren. He's our Director of Convention Arrangements. His email address is jberggren@nfb.org. Thanks, Chad. Great question.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much. And just to let everybody know, we have between our stream and listening via our Zoom app and on the phone, we have over 900 people currently. So we're thrilled that all of you are spending your Friday night with us as our Federation family. Another question that we have has been sent in from Tony Soul from our Arizona affiliate. And Tony had a question concerning whether or not we will be able to meet in person again for conventions and chapter meetings.
Well, there will be a time. There will be a time. I know it doesn't feel like it some days. There will be a time. And we don't know how long this is going to last. Obviously, we want to do our part to make sure that as blind people, as an organization, we're contributing to making the situation better. And if you're following the news, which I'm sure all of you are, it's going to be a while before we have a vaccine. And so social distancing to some degree is going to happen. That's going to challenge us to think about what our state conventions look like, what our chapter meetings look like. I do anticipate, I have no reason to think otherwise, that we will have an in-person convention, national convention in 2021. A lot of our affiliates are planning for, thinking about in-person conventions for the fall, but it's a day-to-day situation that we continue to monitor, and we'll continue to advise affiliates and chapters as best we can. Of course, there is a lot of variance in local communities now. I've talked to affiliate presidents just this week who their affiliates are, their states are opening up, so they're starting to think about it. We want to be cautious because, of course, we want to protect our blind people while we keep them connected. And I think Pam can be the first one to tell you, as being the first state to postpone an affiliate convention, it's not an easy set of questions to work through.
I know that in our Federation family, we have definitely risen to the challenge and found very creative ways to maintain our connections and build our membership and get the work done that we need to do, thanks to your leadership and thanks to all of us working together around the country. So now we have a question. We will be hearing from Corb O'Connor from Minnesota.
Hello, I am fortunate to still be working from home, but I know that a lot of our members are not. And I'm curious, for those who are in a situation where they've lost their job, if you have any guidance for them around earning both or applying for both unemployment and Social Security disability or SSDI.
Thanks, Corb. Great to hear your voice. Nothing like a very complicated question to throw out. I'm going to give you the simple answer and then refer you to a resource, because it is a great question. First of all, unemployment benefits do not count as earnings in terms of Social Security disability income. So that's the main thing you should know. And the second part of that is oftentimes when applying for unemployment, the unemployment worker may tell you, well, because you are eligible for Social Security disability, that means you can't work, and that means you're not eligible for unemployment benefits. That's baloney. Don't buy it. If you get a ruling like that, you should appeal it. That's not a Social Security decision. That's an unemployment decision in your state. Fortunately, because of the great resources we have in the Federation, we've published a lot of good information about this very topic, including some of the subtleties around both SSDI and SSI and unemployment benefits. It's on our COVID-19 page. So again, nfb.org/COVID-19. I'd encourage you to look at that, and Corb, in your case, study it so that you can help blind people that you might come across who are in that situation. That's what we do. But our team, along with Jim Gashel, who knows more about this than most folks in Social Security, have written up some great guidance on it. So it's a good question, and we should help people get connected with that information.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Corb. And our next question is related to, we talked a little bit on the last presidential release about the media and misconceptions that are sometimes shown in the media about blindness. And we've had several questions related to how can we respond to help share what we know to be the truth about blindness, that it doesn't stop us from living the lives that we want if someone says something negative or stereotypical about blindness.
Well, obviously the power of using our voice, both in writing and in calling. If you read a story in the newspaper, or if you see something on television, there's an opportunity to write a letter and tell them why they're wrong. And most importantly, write your authentic story and share it with them, and then share your story with us for the Braille Monitor, for our blog, for our social media, so we can amplify that message as well. It's very easy sometimes to think, they got it wrong again. I'm so tired of them getting it wrong. There's nothing I can do about it. But we have a tremendous amount of power when we write and push back on those negative images. We do want to stay positive, and we do want to take the high road, but it's really important that we put out into the universe the positive experiences that we have, and that we honestly grapple with, what some of the new situations are going to mean for us. People are going to assume that for us, things are going to be harder, but we don't do that in the Federation. We're innovative, and we figure out solutions, and so we have to be part of that dialogue. So, use the power of the pen, use the power of your voice to help share the message, and then get other Federationists to help you with it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. We have another question from Tara and Chris Chavez from New Mexico. Question about whether it's possible to purchase cane tips currently, or canes or items from our Independence Market.
Great question. So we are continuing to send out canes from our free white cane program. The Independence Market is not open yet, so that's not quite available. We are watching very closely the situation in Maryland, and Governor Hogan's been a leader in the nation in terms of being very cautious and thoughtful about how to open up the economy. So we're tracking that very closely, and the Independence Market is going to be, one of our early operations that we will spin up when we can. Apologize that we're not able to take orders and do that right now, and that's somewhat complicated by the difficulty that we've had with our e-commerce version of the store. So I guess the good news is there aren't too many places we can go, so except on a walk, which is a good thing. So we're going to get on getting aids and appliances and cane tips and stuff going out as soon as we can. And believe me, once the doors are open, we'll share it far and wide.
Okay, great. We have another question related to how we can convince legislators that the ATAA is relevant to COVID-19.
Well, that's a good question. The Access Technology Affordability Act has come very close a number of times to be included in bills. It has a lot of support. So I think the important thing is to emphasize how expensive access technology is, and to emphasize how wide the gap is just with the COVID-19 situation and accessibility, right? The government edicts that are put out that are inaccessible, that we have to find a way to work around. Local information about what the current rules are that are put up in scanned PDF images that are inaccessible. Just those two things alone, and to let legislators know that the ATAA will empower us to go out and get the technology we need to be successful, and put those dollars back in our pockets so that we don't have to decide to have technology or food on the table. I think those are the two best arguments. And then the last thing I'd say is, tell your story. I mean, each of us has a story about struggling to get technology, not having access to the right technology. Just the situation with COVID-19 has really underscored how many blind people just don't have good technology at home, even if they're working in a job. The technology to have it at home is still very expensive. So there's a real opportunity there to enhance our quality of life by putting the control back in our hands to get the technology we need.
We have a couple other questions that we've gotten that are related to social distancing. Chris Walker from Virginia is curious to know how we as blind people, as the regulations are implemented in various states, how that impacts us as blind people, and how moving forward we will proceed.
That's a great question that, Chris, I'm hoping you're going to give me the answer to. I think, this is a good example of what we do in the Federation. We're going to want to continue to live in the world, and we have the right to live in the world. And we have a decision in front of us. It's obvious, I think, to many of us, but we do. We can either let others decide what the parameters are going to be for how we participate in in the continued social distancing and what the expectations are, or we can be part of that conversation and own it and own how we're going to participate in it. And I think that's going to challenge us to think creatively and differently, but it's also going to challenge us to use the skills we already have. You know, when I go down to the grocery store down the street here from our national headquarters, they have a little line on the ground. It's not tactile in any way. That's supposed to tell you where you're supposed to queue up. Well, I have no idea where the line is. I just have to ask somebody. And if they say, hey, you're past the line, I say, oh, my apologies, I didn't know. And they get it and I get it. And we have to feel comfortable saying that. But I think we're going to have to define that. And then we're going to have to share the techniques with each other about what works and what doesn't. I don't necessarily want the store to put tactile markings on the ground just for me, but maybe it's a good idea. Maybe we want them to do that. Maybe it's a good idea universally. I did notice when I was at the store that there were other people that didn't even have a clue there was anything on the ground and they're not blind. We get to be part of that conversation, and we could speculate about what it's going to be and how it's going to be, but I think we're going to have to live in it and shape it together and then share that information like we always do in the Federation. And we'll have to decide what's reasonable, what's not, based on our philosophy and our shared vision for what the future is going to be.
And as a follow-up question to that from Jasmine Polite, related to reading Braille signage in public places as we move forward due to COVID-19, how that may affect blind people.
Yeah, well, it's something for us to think about. I guess, I mean, to some extent, it's maybe not different than reading Braille signage has been before. This probably just heightens our awareness of what we're doing and to make sure that we're following, you know, appropriate hygiene and that sort of thing. It's possible that, you know, we want to think about advocating that Braille signs should be made out of certain materials that might be more resistant. Maybe there's techniques to help those signs be disinfected more often. Maybe that's something we need to raise the awareness of folks operating buildings that, you know, they're probably not thinking about disinfecting their signs. So I think there's an awareness piece that we can bring there. You know, I don't think we necessarily want to have blind people encouraged to wear gloves every time they try to read a Braille sign, but, you know, that may be a reality, and that may be something that blind people choose to do to keep themselves protected. But I think there are things we can do, like working with building owners on just raising the awareness. You know, this is a surface that's going to be touched just like a door handle, so you should be taking precautions to clean it. But I'd be interested in other people's ideas about that as well.
Great, thank you. And a couple more questions we have related to convention. I know this is a very important topic to everybody, and so I want to share this one. This relates to our access for deaf-blind members and deaf-blind people who are attending our convention for the first time, how we'll be handling that this year.
Well, again, we don't exactly know because we don't know what the platform is going to look like. But obviously, the closed captioning aspect of Zoom has been working really well for our deaf-blind members, and the other methods that we might do for access, we're not exactly sure, depending on what the platform is. So we're obviously, our deaf-blind members are an important constituency. I know we've had some people reach out and say they would be willing and ready to help do captioning if necessary, or do additional voicing if necessary. So I think that's something to be determined, and we're also going to be looking to our deafblind division to help define that.
Excellent. Okay, and Alex Kaiser from New Jersey would like to know if there'll be an announcement at convention about the 2021 convention's location.
Well, that's a great question. What do you think, Pam? Should we announce it at the convention this summer?
I think that's a fabulous idea.
Okay, yeah, great idea. Thanks for bringing it up. We'll put that in the mix. It wouldn't have occurred to me to announce it, I think maybe until December. So yeah, that's a good idea. We'll announce it.
Yeah, Alex, I'm sure Alex was speaking for many. So
we do have a great convention location in 2021. I'm very excited about it, and I'll be more excited, frankly, to get back in person with the Federation family. I'm looking forward to this year's convention in a big way, but it's going to be different. And it's going to be hard to incidentally come across people in the hallway. And I haven't figured out yet how we're going to greet people in the presidential suite, but we're going to do it. But it's not going to be the same. So partly I'm looking forward to the 2020 convention as the launching point for getting ready for the next convention.
Excellent. I know I'm looking forward to the rookie roundup. So we have many great things planned. So I want to say thank you to everybody who submitted questions. We will definitely be following up with those. I'm sorry we couldn't get to all of the questions tonight, but we will follow up with you. And again, President Riccobono, thank you so much for this opportunity to come together. I know that we are all refreshed and renewed and re-energized as we come together tonight for our Federation family. Thank you again for your compassion and your courage, and I'll turn it over to you for the customary endings.
Thank you, Pam, and thank you for managing our questions and for your continued leadership and stewardship of the work that we do in this organization. It's a pleasure to work with you. I do want to invite everybody to our next presidential release, which will be Thursday, June 4 at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So Thursday, June 4th, for our last presidential release before the 2020 National Convention. Please be sure that you register for the convention before June 4, just so you have that out of the way. And please take a moment. In addition to considering a contribution to the Federation for Giving Tuesday Now, please take a moment, write a thank you note to the Gibney Family Foundation for supporting the Federation. Send it to outreach@nfb.org. It'll make a big difference. If you are participating this evening and you are not a member of the Federation, I invite you to do so. You can find information about how to join at nfb.org. Go to Join Us. You can find information about your local affiliate. We'd love to have you as a member of our organization. We need your support. We need you working with us, and we believe we have something to offer. Thank you very much, everybody, for the great work that's happening around the country to continue to sustain and build our movement. It's going to be even stronger after all of this. I encourage each and every one of you to stay well, stay connected. Let us know if we need to do something to protect blind people in your local community. And with that, I will say, here are the customary endings, and let's go build the National Federation of the Blind.
Hello, my name is Austin Riccobono, and I'm here to tell you a joke. What does duct tape and the Force have in common?
I don't know, what?
It has a light side and a dark side, and it binds the galaxy together.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Riccobono, and I have a riddle for you.
You do?
If you give me a snack, I'll live. If you give me water, I'll die. What am I?
What are you? A hungry plant.
Oh,
No? What?
fire.
Oh.
My name's Oriana, and I'll tell you a joke. Hey, Dad, do you know the difference between a pack of elephants and a pack of cookies?
I do not. What?
I'm glad that Mom does the grocery shopping.
The preceding message was brought to you by Mark Riccobono, President, National Federation of the Blind, Office of the President at nfb.org, 410-659-9314, www.nfb.org. Let's go build the National Federation of the Blind.